Jonathan.
Welcome to the podcast.
Today we're going over the Sunday portion of the Connecting to Life section of your Cornerstone lesson. Lesson 2. Those are a lot of words.
Wow. All right. So, the Sunday portion begins by asking us to read Philippians 4, verse 6, which can be found in the punchline section. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. So, what does that verse say to you? What can you gather from that verse?
That verse to me is actually really important. I have it posted on my desk at work because I get anxious about a lot of things. So I have it posted on my desk to remind me to trust in Him when I'm stressed out for no reason and that He'll get me through it.
Indeed. The next part of the Sunday portion of the lesson is asking us to read into the story. We're not going to read it. We're going to let you guys read it for yourselves. All right, so read the end of the story.
Gotta make sure you guys remember how to read.
Can't read everything for you. So after you're done reading the end of the story, Hannah experienced intense grief. She had birthed no children of her own, yet her husband's other wife, Penina, who knows how that is pronounced? I do not, had birthed lots of children. This wounded her and filled her with sorrow. Now we're going to do the out of the story. So the out of the story, the first question in the out of the story is, why did Hannah want a child so badly?
I think that Hannah wanted a child, first of all, because in general, a child is the embodiment of the love that you feel in your marriage. And when you can't have that, sometimes it drags you down. The other wife had a lot of kids, and I imagine that Hannah must have felt that motherly instinct for all those kids, but still didn't have one of her own, which probably caused her to be jealous, and it tears at your soul. So that's all she wanted was a child.
All right, so the next question is, what similarities exist between the covenant that Hannah makes with God concerning Samuel and the covenant Samson had with God?
The only thing I saw was the hair. So you can explain this one.
All right, so the similarities I drew between the two were they were both dedicated to God before they were born. Before they were born, before they were even conceived, they had already been dedicated to God. They were chosen to be judges, leaders, deliverers of Israel from birth. Samson was chosen to be a Nazirite, to lead and judge God's people. Samuel was chosen to be a servant and a follower of God and to do His will. And he was chosen to be a prophet long before he was even born. All right, so those are the similarities I saw in the two stories. The next question is, why did Eli think that Hannah was drunk when he found her in the temple? I said because Eli wasn't a good priest and he was incompetent.
So I feel like at the time they wouldn't have taken women as seriously as they do now, even though they don't necessarily take us seriously now still. But the fact that she was kind of muttering to herself, he probably was wondering if she was sane at all and assumed that if someone doesn't look sane, then she must be drunk. But yeah, we talked about the fact that we're not supposed to pray to embellish our prayers in the last episode, and Eli as a priest should have known that she was praying. So, yeah.
Yeah, because if Eli couldn't recognize the fact that someone was in great distress and trying to commune with God, he's lacking that connection with God that he should have as a priest. All right, next question. If a priest or pastor today were to find someone much like Hannah in their church or temple, do you think they would have treated her the same way Eli did? Why or why not?
I think we said earlier that it depends on the pastor himself. I can't say pastor today.
He can't speak English.
No. It depends on the pastor. But I don't think that they would. I think with everything that's going on with like political correctness, nobody would go up to her and be like, "Hey, are you drunk?" They would be like, "Hey, are you okay?"
I also agree with that because you kind of anticipate stuff like that to happen where people may come and be in extreme distress, and usually what you should be doing is asking, what's wrong? How can I help? Instead of just saying, stop drinking, stop being crazy, just go back to your seat so we can all enjoy church and let church roll as smoothly as possible. If something like that happens, you need to go and comfort the person and ask what's going on in their life, because they don't just do stuff like that for no reason. And we've had a situation like that happen at our church, and that's exactly what happened. The elders and some of the deacons went and took the lady to the back and were with her for a while to see what was going on and etc. And yeah. Any comments?
Mm-mm.
Okay. The next question is, in what way does the story demonstrate the grace of Jesus Christ and the power of prayer?
Go for it.
Well, God remembered Hannah. That is a power of prayer. She prayed that He would not forget her, and He remembered her. Right? He answered her prayer, and He gave her the child that she wanted. But I think Christ was waiting for her to ask for the child. That's why the Bible says that, the Lord closed her womb. All right. So God specifically closed it to try and get her to rely on Him more. And God does stuff like that in our day-to-day lives, where He will put up a barrier to try to get you to rely on Him more. It's those roadblocks to try and get us to refine our character. Any comments?
No.
Wake up. No sleeping on the job. The last one is, and this is one that you guys have to do by yourselves, is to read through the story again and write down some of the most important points and the parts that you think mean the most to you. So go through the story and just highlight or write down which parts are, just jump out at you. And you can discuss them on Sabbath. All right. So you were asked why Hannah wanted a child. It wasn't just because Peninnah had children, although that was part of it. She wanted something to love, and although she had the Lord and her husband, she ached for a child, and God granted her one. Now, the lesson wants you to go to a concordance, look up the words pray and prayer, and find other verses about prayers that were answered. So that is your task for today, is to go through and try to find different prayers that were answered. All right. And what can you learn from these answered prayers? Are there any similarities between Hannah's prayer and the prayers you found? And what can you learn from them? What's very special about the prayers that were answered? All right. And that brings us to a close for the Sunday's portion of the lesson.
Stay in school.
Sabbath school. Stay in Sabbath school. And stay awake.